So we'll find our seated shape if that's going to work for you today. I really appreciate this request for working with mantra. Yeah, it's a great way to center. So we're going to fold that into it. And the offering here is when we practice mantra, right, is that if it's not for you, it's not for you, right? It's just an offering. And there's scientific data behind like how using the voice can, you know, stimulate the vagus nerve, and the elongated exhalation is actually quite calming. So you might breathe along with the mantra, or you can just receive it, or, I mean, this is Zoom, you could mute me at this part too. So you've got these options, so the mantra we'll play with today, and I'll provide it to you first so you get it into your mind space in your ear, and then we'll start with the practice, is going to be Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Okay? So finding your seated shape. And then I always like to, as I'm starting this process of pulling myself inward, to get a little bit of movement in the body, just to settle into the container of myself. Like feel the movement and the structure of your beautiful body. So for me, that's a little bit of moving of the barrel of the rib cage over the pelvis, or moving the spine. And you might take a clearing breath, or shake the head, or whatever it is that you want to do to kind of shake off stuff and arrive. And then the invitation is to pull the attention inward. So if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. That's a great way to do that. Or you can soften your gaze, like maybe down the bridge of your nose or on the ground. And feel yourself begin to settle, right? Like a body of water that's been stirred up, and the waves have ended, and all of these particles are slowly drifting down to the bottom of this body of water. It's gentle, it's natural. And as you feel yourself settle into yourself and into the earth, you might also feel this sensation of this gentle rising, and I like to think about a flower reaching up towards the sun. It's also gentle and opening, yet quite diligent. And can you trust yourself to know which part of you wants to rise and which part of you wants to settle, and that they're working to support one another? And you don't need to figure anything out. You get to just be. Allow the jaw to soften and the shoulders to relax and settle over the barrel of the rib cage. Feel your breath move your body, and feel your body receive your breath and let it go. Feel the connection of your sits bones and your legs and your feet maybe on the floor, on the earth. Almost as if you have roots like a tree, right? They anchor down into the earth. Okay, and then if it's comfortable for you, I'm going to invite you to take this mudra where the fingers are pointing down and the point of the thumb and the pointer finger are touching. So you're creating like a triangle with your hands. And then bring that triangle to the low belly, so right below the navel. Now, if this isn't comfortable for you, you're obviously welcome to keep your hands resting wherever you'd like. And maybe just visualize a triangle in this space. So there are many views or lenses to look at the chakra system. And the one that I'm going to share with you is where we have 7, okay? And there you have what's called the lower triangle. So your first, second, and third. And where your hand is resting is generally about first and second with a little bit of third. And this is the space of your connectedness to the physical realm, your sense of security, of groundedness, of worthiness, and trust. So I just want you to allow your attention to gently reside on this part of your body. Again, releasing efforting, so it's more of a just a receiving. Feel your breath move your belly and your hands if they're on your belly. And then let's take 3 intentional breaths together. So exhale completely, please. And then as you inhale, send your breath to the base of your pelvis. So feel your belly expand. Maybe feel the tummy and the rib cage expand. And as you exhale, feel the belly come back towards the spine. And you might start to lift your pelvic floor. Then take another deep breath in. Let's go to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stay soft and open. Hold the inhale, please. And then exhale to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little lift of the pelvic floor. The shoulders stay soft. The jaw is relaxed. Inhale to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Allow yourself to stay open, holding this inhale. And then again, exhale to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Little contraction of the pelvic floor, keeping everything soft. And then gently inhale and release the mudra, release the engagement of the pelvic floor, and allow the hands, if this feels safe for you, to rest with the palms facing up. So a little bit of a receptivity shape here. As you continue to just notice your internal landscape, notice your breath. And then you'll start to hear the sound of the harmonium. Start to sing this mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And you're welcome to join at any time. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye. Just stay with whatever's showing up for you. Just a few more breaths. So one of the beautiful lessons of Ganesh is really this idea of our innate wisdom. And this ability and agency to look at situations from lots of different angles so that we may find the pathway of ease. Doesn't necessarily mean there's not challenge or discomfort, but there might be a little bit more of an ease to it, a little more clarity. And the trick to the game with Ganesh is really this surrendering, this letting go, and trusting. So as we move our bodies through a practice, I invite you to maybe carry this energy, this essence of Ganesh with you as a reminder that you do know what's best for you. Right? You know when to push at edges and when to surrender and when to pull back. So let's all take an exhale together. And as you inhale, slowly drift your arms out to the side and up overhead, keeping the shoulders soft with a broad chest. And then touch the palms of your hands over your head and exhale. Bring your hands down your center line and then to your heart center. So pressing the thumbs into the chest. The chest rises to meet the thumbs. Soften the tops of the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back body just for a moment here. Get a little tuck of the chin, finding a little bow here. Then as you inhale, slowly come back to a neutral spine, blink your eyes open, and release your mudra. Awesome. And we're gonna slowly transition our way to a standing shape, but don't need to spring up to it, okay? So maybe move around a little bit, get a drink of water, and then slowly maybe roll onto hands and knees and climb up to a standing shape. Or if you're feeling spunky, you can jump up to your feet. Right, I really want to press this concept of like, there's no one right way to do things, right? So however you want to get up to your standing shape. And, you know, we're not coming into anything too crazy or rigid, just kind of like your natural stance. So for many of us, that might be with the feet at hips width, okay? And I want you to kind of move a little methodically through the body as we find our body's own alignment here. So we'll bring our attention to your feet. You might even look down at them, lift the toes up, and just start to press the weight into like the inside soles of the feet, the outside soles of the feet, and just notice what feels like wonky or good for you. And then find some variation of equalizing the weight distribution in the feet and let the toes float down so they're resting on the floor, okay? And then maybe rock the weight forward and back a little bit, right? And then start to notice this movement, this energy that moves from the feet through the ankles. You'll feel the movement of the ankles up through the calves and the shins. Feel the movement of the knee joints and the strength of your thighs, and then feel that sway moving up into the hips. Feel the movement of the hip sockets. Feel the bowl completion of the pelvis. And then feel the movement. You might even notice like a little bit of movement in the iliosacral joint, right where the sacrum and the pelvis meet. And then the spine. And then the rib cage in relationship to the spine. And then the shoulder blades and the arms and the shoulder joints. And then as your awareness comes up through the clavicles, the collarbones and the neck, and feel the skull moving on top of the spine. So there's like maybe you're getting a little liquidy and moving here. And then with this sense of openness and ease, allow the body to find its own alignment. So, right, so we have this trajectory of the crown of the head being over the tailbone. So maybe that's there, but I want you to kind of be a little more loosey-goosey about it. Let the arms hang, okay? And then find your variation of stillness. And take a deep breath in and out. Okay, and then start to shake the hands out a little bit like you're finding space between the bones and all of your finger joints and your hand joints, and then feel that shake come up through the wrists and the forearms and the elbows, and then get the flesh of the upper arms moving and the shoulders. Nice, you guys. And then maybe we get this like chicken wing thing going, right? Okay. And then maybe start to bounce the feet a little bit and just kind of wiggle it all out like you're just creating space in all of these beautiful joints in the body. Maybe, right? And then we'll take our hands into gentle fists, and we'll start to do a little bit, it's kind of a little bit of a Shiatsu practice. So we're going to start at the nape of the neck, the base of the neck, and just gently tap the tops of the shoulders and the base of the neck with your fists, keeping the jaw nice and relaxed, and then allow that to move up the back and the sides of the neck till you meet the base of the skull, right? And this is, again, where you trust your judgment of like, we're not going crazy hitting ourselves, but maybe a nice little tap is waking you up, and that's nice. Okay, and then move that tapping up over the head, and you might shift to like fingertips for a moment. Okay, and then move down the sides of the head, the temple area, move maybe in circles here. And then we'll all come to fingertips as we tap our forehead, and then the brow, and then moving down till you find your cheekbones, and very gently move in a circle with your fingertips around your eye sockets and around your sinuses, and then down by the cheekbones, and then into the cheeks, and then find that mandible, find the jaw joint, give that a loving tap, and then move and find your ears and go underneath the ears and behind them, and then make little circles around your ears, and then take your pointer finger and your middle finger from the front and behind of your ears and just rub up and down a little bit here. Okay, and then gently and lovingly, if it feels okay, pinch your earlobes and give them a little tug, and then walk your fingers up your ears and give them a little tug all the way up and around and then back down, and then come back to tapping. So now we're kind of at that spot right behind the ears where the skull meets the neck, and then go down. You got this big beautiful muscle that comes down from behind the ear, down the neck, and to the front of the collarbones. Sternocleidomastoid. Okay, and then tapping with fingers or fists, whatever your preference is, we're going to come laterally. So we're going to move along the collarbones to the tops of the shoulders, and then we'll come back to fists. Oh yeah, and come back to that meaty part on the top of the shoulders, and then come down the front of the body, please. And like a gorilla, we're going to gently tap the chest. And now we're underneath the collarbones a bit here, and then maybe around the breast tissue. Yeah. Okay, and then gently down the center of your belly, and then little circles from the center of the belly out to the side and then up and around. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to switch it up a little bit. So we'll take our right hand and come to the side of our left body and tap, tap, tap down the side of the body here. And then keep going. So the arm is lifted over the head, and I want you to start to tap the outer arm up, 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 up till you get to the pinky line of your hand. And then tap to the tips of your fingers and then down the inner side of your line of your arm, up, 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 up till you're at the front of your shoulder. Then come up to the top of the shoulder and tap down the meaty bits of the center of the top of the arm, okay, until you get to the top of the hand. And then we flip the hand and go through the palm of the hand, and now we're at the anterior part of the arm. And then we're back here, and then we'll lift the arm back up over our heads, and then tap, tap, tap down the sides of this body here. And then come through your center line till you get to your belly button line, and then up the center, and then come back to those gorilla taps. And then the left arm will start to tap down the side of the body as you reach the right arm overhead, and then tap the side of the body here. Oh, I love this stuff. Okay, and then we're gonna go up the arm, so like the underline of the arm here, very gently, the pinky line of the arm right till you get to the pinky, and then tap, tap, tap the fingertips till you're then on the thumb line of the arm. And then go up the arm till you're at the top of the shoulder, and then down the outer part of the arm to the center line here. And I like to go for it when you get to certain parts here on the forearm. It feels really nice, okay? And then the top of the hand, flip, palm side, and then the softer side of your arm, up, 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 till you're at the shoulder again, and then we lift the arm back up, get the armpit a little bit if that feels okay, and then down the side of the body again, and then bring the left hand towards your belly button line, and then up your center, and then here we are, gorilla taps again, and then come down the center of the belly, please, and now we'll come out to the hips, okay? Gently tapping the kidney area and the low back, as high as you can get comfortably along the spine here, and then down into the hips and the glutes, and big old circles in the glute area here. Okay, and then get a nice bend in the knees so you can start to tap down the backs of the legs through the hamstrings, gently to the back of the knees, the calves, and then go out the outer edges of the feet, all the way to the inner edges of the feet, and then up the medial line of the legs, the inner thighs here, all the way up, 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 till you get to the groin area, and then tap gently in the hip flexors here. And then we'll go down the sides of the outer legs, lateral line here. And then tap, tap, tap the front of the legs and the feet. All the way up to the thighs. And then back to the belly. And then if it feels okay for you, be very gently, especially if you're on your moon cycle, just little taps in the low belly area. Okay, so the theme of this class as it is turning out is really about like lower triangle grounding here. Ganesh is associated also with the lower triangle, okay? And then once again, come to the outer hips and the bum. One last time. We tend to get congestion in this area, okay. And then let all that go. Shake the arms out, shake the legs out. And then just come to your variation of stillness and pull your attention in. So if it feels safe, you might close your eyes and just notice how you feel. That's a very big question, right? So it could be body sensation, could be emotion, thoughts. Anything goes. Good. Okay. Bring one hand over your low belly and one hand over your heart, please. Press your hands into your beautiful body and feel your beautiful body press into your hands, and take a deep breath in. Exhale, let that go. And then if you're not there already, let's come to the front of our mats. So we're gonna start to move a little bit more here. So a couple of props that I forgot to cue you on. You might want a block, and you might want cushion for your knees. So you might want a blanket for under your knees. Yeah, or some sort of bolster, okay? Yes. Yay, I love that you guys are getting props. Okay. And then we'll all take our time as we meet at the front of our mats. Awesome. Okay. So we're here in our mountain pose Tadasana. Feel yourself rooting down through your feet, and actually root down through the fingertips as well. So the palms will start to rotate forward as you feel the chest open up just a little bit here, okay? Then inhale with the palms forward, so I'll face you so you can kind of see me. I want you to inhale and swoop your arms up and overhead, but keep the palms back. So it's kind of an interesting sensation in the shoulders maybe. And then as you exhale, we're gonna pull the arms back behind us and lift up onto our toes. So like squeezing the calves here. And then inhale, come down onto the heels and float the palms up overhead again. Exhale, bring the arms down. We're still keeping palms facing forward and come up to the toes. So really opening up here, get as tall as you can. Inhale, swoop the arms forward as you come down onto your heels. And then exhale, drift your fingertips back behind you, come to your toes. So you can stay with this, or we'll build up a little bit more here. So you can come down to your heels and then bend your knees and send your bum back into a chair shape as you bring your arms up overhead. Good. And then exhale, straighten your legs, come to your toes, pull your arms back behind you, okay? So choose the variation that works best in your body. Inhale, we lift the arms up, maybe bend the knees. Exhale, maybe straighten the arms as we come to the balls of our feet. Get nice and tall. Cool, right? Inhale, arms up, maybe hinging at hips. Exhale, arms back up to toes. A few more times. Inhale, forward, maybe hinging at hips. Exhale back. Now, can you let go of this idea of efforting, right? So just trust the body as it moves forward and back. Trusting the path of ease as we find mobility in our beautiful body. Let's go 2 more rounds. Nice, okay. And then we'll inhale one more time. And next exhale, we come back to our mountain pose, Tadasana. Maybe shake out any tension that has accumulated. Then we'll exhale together. And this time, inhale, swoop the arms out and up overhead. This time as you exhale, we'll come to a forward fold, and this might be where you want your block. So you might want to bring the floor a little higher for yourself and let your hands rest on a block or the floor as you exhale into your first forward fold of the class, okay? And then inhale to a halfway lift. So options here, right? So hands can stand a block, or you can bring your fingertips to your shins. Either way, can you hollow out your low belly till you feel your tailbone kind of tuck and your low back broaden as you grow a little bit longer through the spine. And then exhale to fold again, please. Then roll the weight back into the heels till you feel the muscles in the back part of the body wake up. Press down through the heels and then inhale, swoop your arms out and up overhead, coming to standing. And then exhale once again, forward fold. Fingertips come to a block or the floor. Then inhale to your halfway lift, so fingertips on your shin, block, or floor. And then exhale to fold. We'll do this one more time. Root down through the heels. And then inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to stand. And then again, exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. And this time as you exhale, you're gonna bend your knees as deeply as you need to so you can plant your hands and step back to downward facing dog, please. Take a couple of moments in your down dog and pedal your feet. And then come to center in your down dog. Again, the knees can be pretty damn bent here. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, lower down onto your knees. You're in tabletop position. And this is where the blanket might be nice for under the knees. We're gonna play around with exploring ways to open up fascial lines in the low back and the hips, okay? So you've got your hands underneath your shoulders, right, kind of above your wrist creases here. Let's all bend our elbows out to the sides of our mat like we're doing a little like 1980s style push-up. Not too far though, but till you start to feel the chest open. And then wrap your elbows and triceps back and press the floor away from you. So you'll feel the shoulder blades glue to the back body and maybe the muscles around the shoulder girdle wake up a little bit more, okay? Now, step your knees back about 1/2 inch so they're not quite underneath your hips, just a little bit behind here. Then take a deep breath in and feel the side body lengthen and feel the crown of the head charge forward. And then as you exhale, start to look over your left shoulder as you pull your left hip towards you. So kind of coming into like a side crunch here. Then inhale, come back through center so you're looking straight between your hands. And then exhale, side crunch to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, side crunch to the left. Up through center. Exhale, side crunch to the right. Awesome. Come back through center. And now get light on your feet. So if you can, this is where the blanket is really nice. Okay, so take your feet off of the floor so they're kind of floating and you're balancing on your knees. And then pull your feet towards the left. As you, kind of like we're doing that side crunch. So you're looking over to the left, but now you're pulling the feet with you as well to the left. Almost like your feet are tails you're wagging, okay? Then come through center, the feet come through center. Then pull the feet to the right and then look over your right shoulder. Okay, come back through center. And then look to the left, pull your legs to the left. So if this is feeling like a lot on your knees, you can keep your toes on the floor and walk your feet in one direction. And then the other, okay? So, but if you're really into it, in my body, it kind of feels like I'm wagging a tail. Okay, so inhale, center, exhale, side. Inhale, center, exhale, side. Yeah. And if it feels really good on one side, you can stay for an extra breath. I want you to think about, like, what are you feeling here in the low back and the outer hips or anywhere else? go one more time each side. Awesome. When you're all set, come back to center, please. And then soften the tops of your feet into the mat, please, and shift yourself back into child's pose. So hips come over the heels. And if it works in your body, walk your arms forward. So like spider crawl your fingers towards the front of your mat. So you're creating traction to get a little more length through the side body. But prioritize the head being able to just lay on the floor. So let the head be heavy. And then take a deep breath in and fill the back body. And exhale, soften as best you can. Good. Take one more deep breath in and out. Then inhale, slowly rise yourself back up to your tabletop shape. Okay, so I suggest having the toes hooked. It can be nice to get that stretch in the bottoms of the feet. But finding your alignment in your tabletop here. The fingers are spread wide and you're pressing down into the finger pads. And for a moment, let's press a little bit more into the thumb and the pinkies. Press them down and towards each other till you feel the palms lift even more. Soften through the shoulders here. Remember to wrap the triceps back. You're broad through the collarbones. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, release that engagement in the pinkies and the thumbs. And then inhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog, please. Take a deep breath in and out. Then inhale, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. It doesn't matter how high, but I will ask you to really get that right bum cheek involved and feel the right pinky toe rotate down towards the floor. So you're squaring your hips here. And as you're lifting the right heel up, you're rooting down through the left heel. So you've got these opposite directions going on. And then see if you can lift your pelvic floor just a little bit and feel what that does to the pelvis. Press the hands down and forward. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, pull your knee towards your nose and work it inside that right hand and lower the left knee down into a low lunge, please. Okay? When you feel stable here, walk your hands up your right thigh and come upright, please. So now we're in our low lunge upright. Again, trust your body's ability to align and think about this trajectory of the crown of the head floating over the tailbone, the sacrum and the shoulder blades lined up. But don't let it be a rigid thing, okay? We'll start with the fingers interlaced on the thigh, just to assist us as we press the hands down to let the rib cage rise up towards the sky as we continually allow the side of the neck and the tops of the shoulders to soften. If this feels unsteady at all, you might think about your inner thighs pulling towards each other and your hip points pulling towards each other as well. Good. Release the arms down the sides of the body, give them a little shake. And then start to swing your arms in opposite directions, forward and back, forward and back. So we're working on keeping the pelvis pretty still here, and you'll feel this movement in the upper spine and the ribs and the shoulder blades. And you can get real into this. Most of you know this one. I love this one, right? So you can inhale, exhale as you're moving, or it can be this really little gentle movement, okay? So again, we're mostly anatomically right now, the goal is warming up fascia, is getting like those sticky bits opened up that tend to happen in all of us. So think about like, what is the line of ease, right? Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, right? And we'll go for 5, 4, nice you guys, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, settle the shoulder girdle down, then rotate your palms up towards the ceiling and work towards pressing them up, but don't force it. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, press your hands forward, round your upper back and tuck your chin. Feel your shoulder blades separate behind you. Take an inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor or to blocks. Good. As you inhale again, puff your chest forward and up, and if you're into it, lift the left knee off of the floor. This is just an option, okay? As you exhale, hands are planted. Work the right foot or knee back behind you so you're either in tabletop or plank, okay? Again, get the strength of the upper back. So wrap the triceps back. Feel the shoulder blades glue to the back body. Lengthen. And exhale, lower yourself down on your knees, your chest, and your chin. Scoop your low belly. Inhale, press your chest forward and up. Lengthen through the toes and find a baby cobra, please. As you exhale, release the back bend. Hook your toes. Press yourself up through tabletop, plank, and then back to downward facing dog, please. Root down through the hands and the feet. Soften through the jaw. Soften your gaze. Take an inhale, float the left leg up towards the sky, and just like we did on the other side, I don't care so much about how high you're getting this leg, but more so that you're engaging the left bum cheek, and the pinky toe on that left foot is rotated down. And as the left heel rises up, the right heel is rooting down. And then see about recruiting lower abdominal muscles, so lifting the pelvic floor to broaden through the low back. And then wrap the triceps back as you press your hands down and forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pull your knee towards your nose, work that left foot inside your left hand, and then lower the right knee down. You're in a low lunge on the other side. And as you're ready here, walk your hands up your left thigh and work towards your alignment in your body here. Okay, so interlace the fingers to begin with and gently press them down into the left thigh. Soften everything from the temples, sides of the neck, shoulders. And feel this lightness in the side body. Good, take a deep breath in. And then exhale, let the arms drift down the sides of the body. Give them a little shake here. Again, maybe the inner thighs are pulling towards each other so you feel that right hip point come forward and feel the left hip just surrender into the socket on the left side. And then here we go again. Swing the arms, swing low. Okay, so... Right, again, this is like so floppy, so easeful, so that the mindset is with the movement, right? So you're thinking like flowing, opening, softening, maybe clearing. Nice, you guys. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, arms come up. Interlace fingers, soften shoulders down. Press palms up. Take an inhale, lift your ribcage away from your pelvis. Exhale, press your hands forward, round your upper back, tuck your chin. Feel the shoulder blades separate here. Inhale, rise your arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the floor or to blocks. And then inhale, puff the chest forward and maybe lift the right knee off of the floor. Get really long here. Okay, this time we're gonna go forward, okay? So shift your weight forward into your left foot and then step your left foot forward. Come into a fold at the front of your mat, please. Take a halfway lift on your inhale, so fingertips on floor, shins block. Exhale to fold. Nice. Roll the weight back into the heels. Feel your hip creases deepen, so your bum starts to go back. And then walk your hands up your legs. So root down through the backs of the legs as you walk yourself up straight. And then swoop your arms out and up overhead. And let your palms touch over your head. Bend your elbows and let the thumbs drift down to the back of the skull or the neck, wherever they want to settle here. Now, feel the engagement of the glutes wrapping down the back of the body as you press your chest forward and up, and then let your head just kind of nestle back into your arms or your hands here, coming into a little bit of a back bend. What would happen if you allow a little bit more of the weight of your skull to go back into your hands? Can you relax your jaw and your throat? Then on your next inhale, come back to neutral and bring the hands down through heart center and then to the side of the body. Let's take a few shoulder rolls together. So as you inhale, feel the shoulders float forward, up, back, and down. And some of you heard this analogy. I like to think about like little balloons floating up, back, and down, right? So as you inhale, it's like your shoulders have a little hot air balloon inside of them that's floating them up, back, and then drifting them down. One more like that, please. Inhale forward, up, back, and down. Oh. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and then open your mouth, exhale, let it go. Then let's come into a wide-legged stance. So I think we're all facing different directions, so wherever you need to step back, okay? And let's actually start with the feet kind of parallel. And wide-legged stance is a very broad term, okay? So we don't need to do anything ridiculous, right? So sometimes you'll hear the cue of like, get the ankles below the wrists. If that feels good for you, you can use that, right? But again, think easeful. And then we'll bring the hands to the hip creases. So if you were to move your hips forward and back, you know, you have a crease that starts to be created where the thigh is meeting the pelvis. That's where I kind of want your hands to be. And then we're going to draw circles with the pelvis in one direction. Really zeroing in on this action of the ball and socket joint of our hips. Right, so, and I don't care how fast you're going or how big the movements are. I want this more to be about you getting acquainted with your own beautiful anatomy. How do they want to move today? What kind of attention do they want? And are you breathing? Nice. Okay, and then please switch direction. Awesome. One more beautiful circle, please. And then we'll come back to center. And then pivot your toes out about 45-ish degrees. So we're coming into goddess or horse stance here, where the knees can track over the center of the feet and it feels safe for the knees. And again, like if you're into it, you can go real deep into the squat. If you're like, today is not a heating day, then we go really shallow, okay? And we're gonna kind of just leave the legs where they're at here. So find a shape that's sustainable, a depth that's sustainable here. Let the weight go a little bit more into the heels and then feel the feet gently pull towards each other so you feel the inner thighs wake up as well, please, okay? Then as you inhale, bring the arms out to the side into a T with the palms facing forward. So you're opening up here. And then let's gauge where the elbows are. So we want them approximately the height of the shoulders. Then make gentle fists with your hands and then keeping the elbows at the height that they're at, interlace your knuckles together like a beautiful little puzzle piece. Okay, so knuckles are facing forward, or the backs of the hands are facing forward, and elbows are approximately at the height of the shoulders. Now start to pull, you're keeping the elbows where they're at, start to pull your fists towards your chest. And your body will tell you when to stop, okay? And then keeping that pressure between the knuckles, keep them nice and interlaced, press the backs of the hands forward. So the elbows will start to straighten, but you want to keep them where they're at. And the wrists will eventually come into a little bit of a flexion here. This is an interesting stretch, okay? And then pull the fist towards the chest. And then press the fists away. So you might start to feel a stretching sensation in the backs of the hands or the forearms, and you want to keep pressing the knuckles together. We'll do this 3 more times. Pull the fist towards the chest. Stay soft, please. I know when I'm doing new movements, I get really like this expression of consternation where I'm furrowing my brow. Right, so can you stay soft through the face? One more. Yeah. Nice, you guys, okay. Then we come to center. So like find that neutral position with the fist between the chest and where you were stretching them. Then separate the hands apart, relax the hands, and then come into cactus arms. Take an exhale, maybe deepen the bend of your knees for a moment. And then inhale, straighten your legs and reach your arms up, 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 up. Grow really long through the side body. And then exhale, come back into goddess shape, like sometimes called traditionally full goddess. So the elbows are in line with the shoulders here. And then can you get a little bit more engaged with the shoulder blades so the chest presses forward just a bit here. And we're keeping the back where it's at. We're keeping the elbows where they're at, but start to press the palms forward. You want to keep the elbows at the height of the shoulders. And you might get to where the forearms are parallel to the floor, and you might start to even lower them even more. Maybe the hands start to press back behind you. Oh yeah, okay. And then we lift the arms back up. Again, try to keep the elbows in line with the shoulders, and then press the hands back in space and see how far they want to go. One more like that. Press the palms forward, and then down, and maybe back behind you. Nice. And then back up. Okay. Take an exhale again. Come back to this neutral stance so the hands are kind of like by the sides of the head. Take an exhale again. Bend into your knees again. Then inhale, straighten your arms and your legs. And this time, bring the thumbs across the palms of the hands. Curl your fingers over your thumbs. And now bend your elbows and bring the upper arms right into the sides of the body as you bend into your knees. Nice. Inhale, come up to straight legs. Open the hands, straighten the arms. And then exhale, find those fists again. Bend the elbows, pull them down into the side of the body. Nice. Okay, again, inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, fists pull down. Oh, yeah. 2 more. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, down we go. Open chest. Soft and strong, please. Inhale, open up. Exhale, down. Good. Inhale, release. So neutral stance with the legs and feet. And shake the arms out. Yeah. And again, take a shoulder roll. So inhale, float the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. And then take a moment to center yourself here. So suggestion to bring one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. Maybe close the eyes. All right, we continue to cultivate this skill of coming back to center, right? So take a deep breath in. And out. Awesome. Okay. Go ahead and release that mudra if you have it, please, and we'll come back to the front of our mats. Make sure that you've got your block or blocks handy at the front of your mat, please. And then come into your Tadasana with your palms facing forward and root down through the hands and the feet. Take an exhale, please. Inhale, swoop your arms over and up. And then exhale, find yourself again in a forward fold. Take a halfway lift here, and I'm going to suggest that we all take whatever we've got for a block or blocks. So either on the medium or highest height underneath our hands here. And then root down into your left foot. So you're shifting the weight to your left foot and feel the left hip tuck underneath you. And then drag your right foot back. So you're reaching back with the tip of that right toe. It's kickstanded on the floor behind you. And then before we maybe lift the right foot up, maybe hop your block forward so you get a little more length through the side body. And then press down through the left foot to lift the right leg up towards the sky. So standing L here. If your body's like, I do not want to do this today, just kickstand the right toe back down onto the floor. But engage the right glute and rotate that right pinky toe down towards the floor, just like we did in down dog. Take a deep breath in. Can you go a little bit longer? And then as you exhale, gently bend into the left knee so you can plop the right foot down into pyramid shape. So it's kind of about a leg's length apart. And if you are doing like low back considerations, let's widen the heels like they're on train tracks. So maybe hips width. And then bring your block so that it's like right at the front of your left toes here. Okay. And now the knees can be bent here, but I want you to think about the left hip pulling back and the right hip pulling forward. And that you're plugging down through the big toe mound of the left foot. Yeah. Take an inhale and maybe lift your chest and your belly away from your leg a little more with a halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, let's walk our hands up our leg. And then inhale ourselves up to standing. And when you get here, you might want to adjust so you feel a little more stable. Feel the inner thighs rotate towards your center line and back behind you just a smidge, okay? And then float your arms up towards the sky. So we're doing this gesture to lift the rib cage up, but we keep the shoulders soft. And then exhale, pull your arms back behind you like we did when we were doing that like cool flying bird shape. Yeah, palms are forward here. And then pull this left hip underneath you as you start to press your chest forward and maybe parallel the torso to the floor. Now plug down through the right leg, this will help support you, and lift the abdominal muscles of the low belly up towards your back body. If this does not feel safe, please bring your hands onto your thigh, okay? Breathe. And then we'll let the left hand come down and maybe find the block, and we'll move the block to the inside of the left foot. And then swoop the left arm forward towards our ear and then up towards the sky, coming into a revolved pyramid. Now, if this extension feels like too much, please bring your hand to your low back, or you can hook your fingers into your left hip and kind of coax the hip back. Let's stay here for about 3 breaths, okay? So feel this nice lengthening as you inhale. And maybe you feel the shoulder blade on that left side just sliding back on the upper back to open the chest a little more. Remember, we're going for the path of ease. I hope you were keeping count. Let's do one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, come out of the revolving part of the pyramid. So bring this left hand down. And then, depending on if you have 1 block or 2, right, you're going to take that 1 or 2 block, bring it forward again so it's in front of the left toes, and then pivot onto the ball of the right foot, and bunny hop that right foot back a bit here. So you're in this really long lunge shape, so you're reaching forward a bit here. And maybe bend into the left knee a bit more, but as you do, can you feel the left hip come underneath you? So it's like the left thigh bone is being received by that left hip socket, and the right inner thigh is rotating up towards the ceiling. So this is a long shape. You may not be that deeply bent in that left knee. That's okay. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, lower that right knee down. Then you can move the block maybe underneath you or to the side. And then drag that left knee underneath you as well, so you're in a tabletop shape. So hips are over to the knees, hands are over shoulders. Take an exhale, round your spine into a cat back. So press the floor away from you, feel the shoulder blades separate. And then inhale, find a cow face, so that extension as you press the chest forward and look up with the chin and the tailbone. Then soften the tops of the feet into the floor, and exhale, lower yourself down into child's pose again, hips over heels. And this time, slide your hands along the sides of your body if that feels okay, with the palms facing up. And allow there to be the sensation of the flesh of the back body is just dripping down off the sides of you, right? So there's softening and opening. Take a deep breath in, please, nice and smooth and long. And exhale. Then let's bring our hands forward so they're approximately under our shoulders or a little bit forward. And then rise yourself up to tabletop shape. Find your engagement in your shoulder girdles. So it might be helpful again to bend the elbows out to the side and then wrap the triceps back as you press the floor away from you so you feel the shoulders wake up. Hook your toes and then lift yourself up and back to downward facing dog, please. Can you soften the muscles on the tops of the shoulders and the side of the neck? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees a bit and look forward. And then at the end of your exhale, bring your feet to your hands and come to a fold at the front of your mat, please. Find your block and bring that in front of your feet. Take a halfway lift on your inhale and a fold on your exhale. Then find another halfway lift, please. And shift your weight into your right foot as you tuck the right hip underneath you so you're nice and engaged in that right hip socket. And then start to drag your left foot back. So you're on the tip of your left big toe. And then work your blocks or your hands forward a bit. So you're nice and long through the torso here. Okay, so the hands are approximately under the shoulders. And as you root down through that right foot, lift the left foot off of the floor and see how that feels. Reminder, you can immediately bring it down to the floor again, okay? Either way, you're rotating the pinky toe of that left side down. Strong hips, okay? Then gently bend into your right knee just a bit and plop the left foot down and find your pyramid shape on this side. So, right, so the starting point is that the heels are lined up, but I would suggest you widen them apart a bit here. And then you're gonna bring the block probably to about the front of your left foot here. Let the inner thighs rotate towards each other and behind you, and feel that right hip pull back slightly as the left hip comes forward. And press down into the big toe mound of your right foot like you're pressing into a gas pedal. Then walk your hand up to your thigh, take an exhale. Inhale, come all the way upright. And maybe adjust your footing. Good. Floppy arms, okay? And then we'll inhale, float the arms up overhead. Let's have the palms facing forward. And then exhale, pull the hands back, and now the palms are facing back. Good. Scoop through your low belly. Chest is nice and broad. And then as that right hip goes back, you start to hinge at the hips, and maybe the torso becomes parallel with the ground. The hands can come to the thigh immediately for support, okay? Breathe here. I love playing with this juxtaposition of how can I find ease while I'm challenging myself? Like, how is that possible, right? Take a breath. And then we'll slowly let the left hand come down to the block and probably bring the block to the inside of that right leg, right foot. And then start to pull the right arm forward. So we'll hover for a moment with that right bicep along the ear. Get really strong through the low belly. So feel your hip points pulling towards each other. And then steer your right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Let the arm follow. And maybe it works in your body to have this right hand reaching up towards the sky, or maybe you rest the right hand on the hip or the low back. We're going to stay here for a few breaths, so find the one that's sustainable for you. On every inhale, can you lengthen through the spine and the side body? On every exhale, can you feel a little deepening of that twist in the upper back? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we'll slowly lower that right hand down and bring that block or blocks again in front of your right foot, please. Nice, you guys. Okay. Pivot onto the ball of the left foot and then whoop, bunny hop the left foot back just a bit. Not too crazy, okay? And again, as you bend into your right knee, we're coming into a bit of a lunge here. I want you to also, at the opposite direction, feel the right hip being received by the right hip socket. Okay, so the right hip will come back here. The inner thigh on that left leg is rotating up. And we grow nice and long through the side body as we inhale here. And then we'll lower that left knee down to the ground, please. Bring our hands onto the floor and then drag the right knee underneath the right hip. We're back in our tabletop shape. Awesome. Bring the tops of the feet to the floor and the insides of your big toes together. And then widen your knees as wide as your mat. And then shift your hips back over your heels. So we're kind of in this wide-kneed hero's shape just for a moment. The right hand's going to come behind the back. Kickstand your fingers behind you. And then lift your hips off of your heels as you reach your left arm up and find a nice stretch to the front of the body here. Squeeze your bum. We'll transition on the exhale. So exhale, swoop your arms forward. Left hand comes behind you, and then inhale, lift your hips up, reach with that right arm. That's so pretty. Okay, one more time. Exhale, transition. Right hand behind you, left arm reaches up, lift your hips. Exhale, transition. And then lift on that right arm. Yeah, okay, and then exhale, come back down. And then we'll come out of this shape. And we'll transition onto our backs. So you might come to tabletop and just swing your legs down and roll onto your bum. Okay, a nice gentle variation is to have the knees bent with the feet on the floor and walk your hands down your hamstrings. Yeah. We'll keep the knees bent and the feet on the floor. And then let's bring the arms up towards the sky. We'll bend the elbows and grab opposite forearms. And then rock your knees to the left as the arms rock to the right, so the elbows come towards the right. Then inhale up through center. Exhale, knees knock to the right, elbows to the left. Inhale up through center. Exhale, other side. Inhale up through center. Exhale, other side. Okay, inhale up through center. Exhale, other side. And if it feels okay, I want you to stay here for one breath. You can, by all means, release the arms if that feels like too much. Then gently inhale, come up through center, transition to the other side. So knees to the right, elbows to the left, and stay here for a breath or two. Awesome. Then come up through center, please. Release the bind of the arms and pull the legs in towards your body, please. Grab a hold of your shins or your knees or your thighs and just press the legs into your body a little bit so that you feel this pressure and this broadening in the back body and the low back. And then rock from side to side a bit so that you're giving a little bit of compression and massage to the back body as well as the hip flexors, the fronts of the thighs, the fronts of the hips. Then come to stillness, pull your knees towards your armpits so you're in kind of like a half happy baby. And prioritize the broadness and the connection of your low back to the floor. So notice how that's there. And then start to press the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, okay? So keeping the low back where it's at so that the tailbone's not popping up. Maybe you grab the outer edges of the feet or the calves and come into a different variation of child's happy baby. And then if you like it, you might rock from side to side. You might play around with straightening a leg or two. You know, there's lots of variations. Again, where can I find this path of ease? Invitation to come back to center and then to bring the legs back to your center line just one more time and give yourself a squeeze. So exhale, pull the legs tightly into the body and then slowly release the pressure on the legs. Bring the feet down to the floor with the knees bent just for a moment. Take the heels of the hands right into your hip creases and press your heels of your hands into your thighs away from you. So sometimes I think of like a cat that's like kneading a mama belly, right? So you're just kind of pressing your hands into the flesh of your upper thighs. And then you let that go and we'll set ourselves up for our Shavasana, final relaxation. There's time. If there's anything that you wanted to do that we didn't get to, any sort of movement or shape, and also time for you to set yourself up to be comfortable. So please grab a blanket, roll up a bolster or whatnot under your knees, get a drink of water. And before you drift off, if you do, come back to feeling the container of your body. So feel the pressure of whatever is on the floor, on the earth. Feel the movement of your body as you breathe. And notice that settling once again. Whether that's an energetic thing or a thought thing or an anatomical thing, right? This settling that happens. And then allow yourself to rest in the trust that you have in the wisdom of your body. Trusting your inhale and your exhale and your heartbeat. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Invite your attention to come back into your body, please. Feel your breath. Begin to deepen your inhale And exhale. And then begin to find gentle movement in your body. And can you stay anchored in this deep place that you might find yourself in as you begin to make the transition to a seated shape? So bending your knees and rolling off to one side maybe. And eventually pressing yourself up to a seat. Trust your body to find its alignment. You'll begin to hear the sound of the harmonium. Like to join, we'll close by chanting Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Please take a deep breath in to chant. Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. May you remember your true nature, which is love, trust, and reasonless joy. And may you remember that you are strong and wise. Thank you so much for being you and for sharing it. Namaste.